Hello everyone. First of all, I just wanted to say that it's a great honor to be a speaker at the first WordCamp Croatia. And I'm going to use that honor and that privilege to talk about how you can easily build and validate forms, WordPress forms, or any other PHP, HTML forms with Formjack. So before I do so, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So who am I? My name is Domagoj. I'm a lead developer lead software developer at Slideject, a company that specializes in WordPress and uses WordPress to build highly scalable, customizable, and professional solutions for a large number of clients. I've been coding for more than 10 years. I've been in PHP world for almost more of 5 years, and I've been a WordPress developer for 2 years now. I'm also 22 years old, but tomorrow I will be 23, so keep that in mind in the after party tonight. So I'm going to talk about forms, and yes, I mean ordinary HTML forms. You've been all working with them, and you all know issues that come with those forms. That's why you usually install Gravity Forms or any other plugin, because you know that writing custom forms, it's pretty basic job to do, but you have a lot of things to keep in mind while doing so. So large forms can become harder to extend, harder to read, and there's that security issue that comes with patching the forms over and over again. So it's easy to mess something up. So what is Formjack? It was originally built as a helper tool for Slideject developers. Now we've open sourced it as a PHP library that you can find on GitHub repository. Here's the link. You can just write Slideject. Formjack is easy to remember. And that library helps you build and validate forms with ease. So why Formjack? Why did we even build it? Because we wanted simple solutions that we would implement to client sites on our own. So we just wanted a simple library that you can basically clone into your team, include it within the functions PHP file, create new form instance, and add fields and validate them. So we didn't want to mess with Composer or any other third-party forms that's pretty complicated to install. So we just wanted to create a small minimalistic PHP library that's easy to include and start building. So I could just talk here about Formjack for 20 minutes, but I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to show you how it works. And I'm going to do that by running through a demo. So this is Formjack. You can see that it's a pretty minimalistic library, and it has a bunch of fields in it. We are working on it practically on a daily basis on our free time. So I just wanted to show you current state of the project. So it's a pretty new project as well. So let's say you have your team right over here. And let's go to homepage. And this is the correct hashtag for the conference. So you have a contact page and you want to embed a form here. So one thing that you could do is to install a plugin, pay for it, and that's it. Another thing that you could do is to write 50 or so lines of custom code and be done with it. So I'm going to show you that way, and we're going to do it with Formjack. So first of all, I said that we need to clone the project. So I'm within the Briar. That's the team that we developed. You can find it by typing in Slideject Briar into Google. That's our free team. So you can just git clone it. I'm going to clone it within the includes library Formjack. We'll just wait a few seconds for it to clone. And we are going to go into the functions PHP file. And I'm just going to resize this. And we are here. Sorry, this is a small resolution. So we are going to require the Formjack library. So next thing that we want to do is to create practically two files, one to hold the form instances, and second to hold the validators for those forms. So I'm going to require both files, and we're going to use them. Those are blank files now. So we have the include forms and form handlers. So first thing that we need to do is to create a new form instance. I rewritten some snippets of the code just to keep things moving so we don't make any errors. But if you have any questions, you can ask me later. So we're going to create a new form instance. And it's simple as this. You create a new form instance, you use the Formjack form and fields that you want to use. And we created the contact form with 4 fields, first, last name, email, and a message. That's it. If we refresh this page, nothing happens because we didn't render the form within the template file. I prepared the page contact, and we are going to substitute the content with the form file. So I've pre-written the form as well. So we're just going to paste this here. So basically we're just creating a new form, creating a new button, and we are rendering the form here. So if we refresh the page, here is the form. Form does nothing. So if we submit it, it just goes to admin Ajax, and that's it. So let's take care of it. We're going to create an Ajax form, and we're just going to copy this jQuery function. I'm not going to explain the function because this is not a jQuery course or something else, but basically this function takes care of the submission, prepares the data, sends it to the admin Ajax. And that's it. And it expects the response in the form of 200 or 400 status code, and that's it. So if you go here now, I'm just going to inspect the elements so you guys can see everything. Network, submit, 200 OK, and 0. That's because we didn't write a handler yet. So let's write a simple handler within the form handlers. We need to implement a form handler. So I just created this file, and I'm going to walk you through this. This is the usual way that you would write a handler. You would write 2 add actions, one for public and one for logged in users, and you would write a string that points to a function name that would do the form handling part. We cannot do this here because we have a form instance that we must use, and it's outside of the function scope. So we are going to use this model here. We are basically going to create a variable that's an anonymous function. We are going to use the contact form that's in the scope of this variable, and we are going to practically var dump just to make sure that everything's working. So let's go to the form handlers. Let's write this down. Go here, refresh, and hope that everything's working. So yeah, we can see the object of the Formjack form, so that means that handler is working and he is aware of the contact form. So let's just copy and paste a few lines of code here. And this is the practically basic validator. So if I will explain the code now, just let me see if it works. Form is valid, 0. Okay, let's get rid of this 0. So basically we are checking if the HTTP method is a post, and if it has a variable with the contact form's name. Then we bind the data to that form and check if it's valid. If the data is valid, form is valid, otherwise it's not. If it's not a post request, it's an invalid submission because we are expecting the post request here. Okay, so in order to make sense of this, we are going to return to our forms file and add validator to it. So in order to keep this short, I'm just going to make email. So I'm not going to waste your time. Please enter your email. Also, you can add many rules as you wish. We have few validation rules. You can view that on the GitHub page. We are going to import 2 rules. Rule, not empty, and email. So it must be a valid email address. Please enter a valid email. So, okay, let's refresh the page, submit. Form is invalid because we didn't write in the email. So if we write email address, submit, form is valid. Now, we must add more data. So we are going to update our handler a little bit. So we're just going to type in, need to find the file, form handler. So we want to just notify the user if everything's okay, if not, which fields are wrong. So we're just going to open the form handlers and helpers. So I'm just going to copy this one here. This is the case when the form is valid, so we are just saying that the status is okay and the data is null because no data should be passed to the user. But you can modify this however you wish. Otherwise, it's a 400 and it's a bad request. And status is a bad request. And data is contact form, get errors. This will return an array of errors and the key in a key value format. So that key is the field name, and the value is an array of errors that are related to that field. Otherwise, it's a bad request as well, but no data will be returned because form is not submitted. So null. Let's just refresh, submit, bad request. I will go to the console. Sorry, data of undefined. That's because our network issue. Sorry, just refresh, submit. Sorry, network, console, headers, bad request. So let's write email. Okay, so I miswritten something, but generally this is the idea. You would get back a response where the message is success because all fields are valid. Otherwise, oh sorry, I forgot to enter 2 lines of code. You're going to need to echo out the response. I didn't echo out anything, so that's the issue we had. So if I click submit, we have errors, email, please enter your email. And if I enter my email with like this, we're going to click submit. We still get an error because this is not a valid email address. And if I type in the real email, this is the success message. So basically what we did is implemented and handled the form submission in just 20-30 lines of code. You can do there is no limit to this. So you can create big forms, small forms, heavy validations, or easy validation. So I'm just going to show you a simple example that would take me a few seconds with much complicated validation. So we have a conditional validations as well. So we're going to set function. This is more WordPress related. So when the function returns is user logged in, we're going to set him an array of validation rules. So we're just going to do this because blank email is not a valid email. So what this is doing is checking if the user is logged in. If user is logged in, that field won't be validated. But if he's not logged in, he will be prompted to enter his email address. So I will just need to import this when and hope that I've written everything correctly. No data received. I messed up something. So new function. Maybe I did something here. So new when. Why I'm not receiving data. So let's see this. So I messed something up here. New import rule when function returns this. Let's remove this part. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So new when return array. New when. Well, I miswritten something, and I'm sure that I will find out what I did wrong when I get back over there. So basically, you have a function that returns either true or false. When it's true, it will go through this validation process. But I cannot see the error now, so that's it. That's the Formjack. So I'm sorry about this last error. And that's it. Do I have any times for any questions or 1 or 2 questions? Anyone? You can also ask me questions later. Catch me up on the part.
Hi.
Hi.
This looks like a lot of code when something should be fairly easy. The same amount of code it takes to make your own function and your own front-side validation. Why use this?
Yeah, when it comes to contact forms, it's basically the same. But if you want to do some heavy validation, for instance, we're working on this plugin as we speak, so plugin library, sorry. So when it comes to file uploading and file validation, it becomes much more heavy to do that because you have fields that are multi-select fields. So you have a field that enables you to select multiple files and you want to validate those files. So we're working on new validations right now, which will enable you to upload as many files as you wish and just write 2 instances of validation rules. So you can just say it must be this type and it must be this size, and that's it. So when you would do that by hand, manually, you will need to write 2 for loops, because for looping through multiple files is not easy as for each in files. And you would basically, for each iteration, you would need to write if, and you will need to have an array of errors, and you will need to determine if array of errors is filled in or empty. You would do some actions. We are enabling you to do this with new field, new file field, and array of 2 or 3 instances of validation rules. So when it comes to more complex forms, it gets more interesting because you write much less code to do just that.